Good morning, everybody. It's a Friday morning. It's the 2nd of April and the sun is shining. Now, just for the benefit of my lovely Irish friend Dave, I'm wearing a scarf because in Scotland up here, yes, the sun's shining, but it's still kind of a wintry sun. And so anyway, I've got the scarf on for that, and I think it looks pretty nice as well. Anyway, that's to answer Dave's question, why am I wearing a scarf? Anyway, good morning and welcome to Overthinking Friday. Now, before I start the topic of overthinking, lovely to see you there. I wanted just to say this is Easter Friday and the Easter weekend. So I want you to take time to remember your loved ones, whether they're with you or with you in spirit. Please remember them, but I want you to think of the happy memories, the wonderful memories. And also I want to get you to think and reflect on your strengths, only your strengths. Now I'll be mentioning this in the wellbeing group. I'll be posting up, please post up 1, 2, 3 strengths. That's all you have to focus on. And that gives you something to think about. So for today's topic, it's not really about overthinking, it's more about how to stop the overthinking. I think that's what's important. You need to find out how you can turn these thoughts that are rattling around your head and your brain into more effective and productive ones. And I'll give a wee wave to this Barbara, and I'm glad to see people are even coming on, and it's Easter, it's a holiday today, I think. But of course, every day's been morphing into one over the last 2 years, hasn't it, with the pandemic? Anyway, overthinking causes you stress and anxiety. So I'm going to give you tips. What you're going to try is actually use them. So the tips are how to reduce and even stop your overthinking. When you overthink, it stops you from getting anything done. It affects your emotional, your psychological and your mental well-being and actually your physical well-being as well, your overall well-being. So what is overthinking? It's all about thinking, as it says, thinking over and over again about what happened in the past, what happened yesterday, what happened last week, what happened last month, last year, 2 years, 5 years. What if things will happen in the future? What's happening? You're letting your thoughts overtake you. You've often heard me talk about habits, and actually overthinking is a habit. So you've created this bad habit. Now, what I've been wanting you to do over all these videos is to create good habits. And the simple one I've been asking you to do is use my ABC. Make that your good habit. Now, I think the problem, and I hate to talk about it being a problem, but the difficulty then is that my ABC are easy to use. But what's difficult is to make them your good habit. We all know how to create bad habits. We all know we overthink. We all know maybe the smokers, the drinkers or whatever. Everybody can overdo things and create the bad habit. It seems to be that we can create a bad habit very quickly. So I'm trying to get you to use my ABC quickly and regularly, that it becomes your good habit. A bad habit of any kind, including the overthinking, impacts on your mental well-being, and it can lead to anxiety and even depression. The good news is that with any habit only you can change the habit and turn it into something positive. So if overthinking, I think for many it'll be that, if overthinking is your bad habit, you need to turn this into a good habit that makes your thoughts become productive and effective. Now, the problem with anything that's worthwhile, it needs hard work. And I would hope that the hard work, like my ABC, is not so hard, because you can do it when you are doing automatic tasks like brushing your teeth, brushing your hair, looking in the mirror in the morning, maybe as you're making breakfast, whatever. Just your mind should go into the ABC. And I know Debbie and there's some watching, Barbara and others, I know they use them and they've been telling me they are effective. So please, it's not just me. People need to know they are psychologically effective techniques. And I think I've told you before that when I started doing this many years ago, I remember I talk about Walter, and he is real. I don't just bring him out the cupboard, but he and I talked about almost we were shooting ourselves in the foot. It was like saying, these are so easy. And when something sounds easy, it's a bit like when things sound good, too good to be true, they probably are. Well, people might think these ABC, they're so easy, therefore they can't be any good at all. But they are. They're psychologically effective. The difficult bit is practicing them regularly. So here are some scientifically proven tips that are effective, that work to stop you from overthinking. Now you can listen to these videos again and again. I post them up on YouTube. And I'd forgotten, actually, I think it was Barbara said to me, you can actually save them yourself and look at and listen to them later. So the first tip, you need to be aware. You need to be aware that you're overthinking and why you're overthinking. So what is it we use? The journal or the diary. I hope you're using the changing seasons of life, but anything at all that helps you to write down. Often, because it's a bad habit and it's automatic, you often don't even know you're overthinking. It's because it's become that bad habit. And just as forming the bad habit is hard, forming the new habit, it's hard work. So is trying to get rid of the bad habit. So you need to start identifying your thoughts. And you do this by writing them down. I like the pen and pencil. But if you've got an app, if people like technology, you can use an app and even record your thoughts. And just, it gets you into this mode of, you can reflect and think, oh, I keep doing that. I keep repeating that thought. Why am I doing that? That's you identifying when you're worrying, what you're worrying about. And then, of course, you need to, I think what happens is people worry about the mistakes they've made and then they look back and think, I'm doing that again. So writing it down shows you that you're identifying now where you're kind of overthinking. And then, of course, you've got to write down, how does this make you feel? So every time you have this worry or this anxiety, you write it down. What was it over? How did you feel? And by writing it down or recording it, you're recording your thoughts, you'll be able to reflect and realise, there you go again, you're repeating this pattern and of course causing yourself anxiety. So the next tip 2, is to take control over what you can control. So for this you need to focus on what you can control. Focus on that. That includes the fact that you can control how you react to a problem, a mistake, an error, or any challenge you have. If you've no control over what's going on, now we can't control everything in life. If you have no control over what's going on, then you need coping strategies. And of course, the easier are my ABC. So if you've no control, you need to kind of take a step back and just go, take a minute for yourself and do the ABC. It's so often easy to forget that you have these ABCs as your coping strategy. Now, it's not the only coping strategy. There are many coping strategies. And when people go for professional help, where they're hoping to get coping strategies, what's happening for a lot of people, not everyone, but for a lot of people, you're going because you want that person to do the coping strategy. You think by them telling you, you hope that, well, they'll do it and I'll be all right. It's like we want everybody to take our pain away of any kind, but that's not possible. Other people, they can maybe give you a hug, they can maybe give you certain, support, but that's all. You need to be in charge of your destiny. You need to be in charge of what you want your life to be. So do you want to overthink? Do you want to be anxious and depressed all the time? I bet not. But, there's no easy route. Doctors, others, pills or whatever, only you can do it for yourself. If you can't remember all of my ABC in that moment, or you've maybe not made them your good habit yet, what you can do is breathe. The B is very good. And thanks there, I think Debbie's saying it's taking ownership, which is, I know if we've got physical ill health, we go to the doctors, we're hoping to be told, yes, if you take this pill, you'll be fine. Now, often, there isn't a pill for everything. But if you can be as positive as you can with what's going on, and as I've said before, I have friends who have, we talk about the big C, cancer. I have friends who are suffering from that, they're experiencing that. Others have fibromyalgia, lots of other unseen, we say it's all very well for people, if you've broken an arm or you've cut your finger or something, people see that. But there are so many unseen things that, people don't realise you're suffering. But you can make things better by being more positive. Look at it with a positive outlook. And research has shown that actually you can help your physical health by improving your mental health. And of course, remember the power of the mind. So in your moment of overthinking, take a step back and breathe. Just the deep breathing and focus on it. You need to actually say the affirmation almost. I am breathing. Breathe in through the nose, hold and exhale slowly through the mouth. Now if you all do it just now, just breathe. You're saying to yourself, and then exhale through the mouth. It just slows everything down. It calms you and it relaxes you. And I would say use the words. I'm going to breathe in through the nose. Close your eyes even. Just give yourself a focus on the breathing and the words. And of course, taking a walk in nature. Nature is absolutely wonderful. That's my C. Just use that. Use your creative imagination. And lots of people say, I can't imagine. Well, I'm sorry, just go outside, look at nature. Anything, the clouds, the sky. You get a new perspective on things and breathe in. Just breathe in nature and it calms you down. Now, if you have some control over the situation, that is, if you're worrying about something and you've got control over part of the situation, or there's something you can do, then what you do is try and resolve it. Just think again, breathe in and think, right, what's the plan here? What can I control? What can I do? So tip 3 is ask yourself this question. Are you making a mountain out of a molehill? Now, I've so often, over the years, even when I'm worrying about something, even other people, I know they've used these words. Are you making a mountain out of a molehill? Just think about this. So when you make a mountain out of the molehill, you're letting your emotions take over. And when you do this, you're not able to look at the situation objectively, rationally, logically. That just goes out the window. Your emotions take over. And what do we do there? Breathe. Take a walk outside. Nature gives you a different perspective. If you can't get outside, go to the window. Look at the clouds, look at the trees, the grass, the flowers. Take a moment where you're kind of not thinking about yourself or your thoughts. And then, of course, the journal. The journal and the diary is really vital here when you're overthinking. And it's become this terrible bad habit. Every day you're waking up, you're overthinking about everything. What if things go wrong? Ditch the what if and write down in your diary, particularly if it's a situation that you're overthinking about. You need to start writing down the facts. What evidence do you have that the way you're thinking is true? What evidence do you have? If the situation's not true, if you're overthinking something that's out of your control, you can't do anything about, then let it go. If it is true, then ask yourself another question. Will it matter next week? Will it matter next month? 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Research, there's actually research, and it's to do with a productivity research, and it was started by Tai Chi Ono, who was the founder, I think, of this process called the 5 Whys, and it related to the Toyota production process, the system. And you can follow this 5 Whys questions. So why the 5 Whys? Why, my goodness, why should you do the 5 Whys process? Well, what it means is you ask yourself, why are you thinking this? And you write down the answer. 2, you ask yourself again, why are you thinking this? And answer the question. And the next question is the same, so you do it 5 times. And by the time you've asked yourself the same question 5 times and got an answer, you'll have a more detailed answer. Now you probably think, what's this all about? Well, to explain what this Tai Chi Ono did in Toyota, it was the example he used was a system, the welding robot that was not working properly. So he got together the production team, and this is where the 5 Whys came out. The first question he asked was, well, if something's not working, you ask you, why is the robot not working? So they came up with circuit was overloading and therefore a fuse blew. The second question was, because that answer gave you a clue, the circuit. So the next question was, why did the circuit overload? So of course they came up with, well, there wasn't enough oil on the bearings and they locked up. The third question was, well, why was there not enough oil on the bearings? And of course the oil pump, it wasn't circulating enough. So that brought the fourth question, why is the pump not circulating? And of course the answer there was it was getting clogged up with metal shavings. So the fifth question was, why was it getting clogged up with metal shavings? And the answer was, because there was no filter on the pump. And of course they realised then that actually the questions led to the fifth question. They led to the detailed answer that actually there'd been a human error. Somebody'd forgotten to put the pump in. Now, if they'd stopped at the first question, they'd be tempted to think, well, we just need a new fuse. And of course, what would happen then? The problem wouldn't have gone away. It would have kept occurring and reoccurring. So that was the kind of background to the 5 Whys. So if you sit back and ask yourself, why am I thinking this way? Then get an answer. And if that answer leads you to another question, keep going till you kind of drill down. And that leads to tip 4, because by doing all of these questions and answers, this is a difficult tip because you might think I'm talking about reflecting on what you've written or said. Now, the word even reflect, you might think, oh dear, I've got to dwell again on the issue. No, this is not dwelling on the problem. The reflection tip is about taking time to think about your thoughts. So we're not reflecting on the problem, we're reflecting on our thoughts. So just take a moment again about how you're thinking. So you've got so many thoughts, you're overthinking, and that's making you anxious and stressed. So write down how you feel. So reflect on each thought and then write down how you feel. And by doing this, you're identifying your, what in the marketing world they call the pain points. So you're identifying the problem, you're identifying maybe the physical, the emotional, the mental, the financial problem. And of course, using a CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy type questions, you can ask yourself, and if some people may know what the CBT therapy is, this is just a short overview of the questions. It's an effective therapy, but I think what happens is that it's what can I say? If you've got problems and your doctor says, oh, you need to go and see a mental health professional or a psychologist or counsellor, CBT was used, or they referred people to CBT therapists. And the problem became, or the challenge was, that there was a waiting list. And then they decided that when they were doing CBT, what they liked about it was, well, it's a set time. So within 6 weeks you do this, and you're all sorted. And actually that isn't what happens with mental health. You know, we have to work on ourselves all the time. Hence I came up with my ABC, which are psychologically effective techniques. So the CBT questions, though, would be, they'd ask you, hi there, Alan, good to see you. We'll give a wee wave there to Alan as well. So the CBT questions are, you sit back and you think, what is the worst case scenario? What is the best case scenario? What's the most realistic or likely scenario? And just try and answer these. And by considering these questions, you're evaluating your worry. And this reduces the excessive worry. So often we focus on the worst case scenario and we forget about the others. We forget about the best case scenario. And of course, what happens is, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're always thinking of the worst, often maybe the worst happens. Have you found that happening? And when you evaluate your worry, when you ask yourself these questions, you're helping identifying, is what you're thinking productive or unproductive? And that's basically what it's about. All this over worry, take a step back and think, right, is this way of thinking productive or is it unproductive? If it's unproductive, what should you do? Now, if you've been listening to all my videos, hopefully I'm getting through to you now. Use the ABC. The affirmation, I let it go. The B, breathe. And of course, the Mind Bites meditation of letting go. The balloon. And of course, that brings you, I love Fraser. I don't know, it's the psychologist, or what is he? He's a psychiatrist actually, on a TV series. I think they're bringing it back. I hope they do. But I can watch these episodes time and time again and still laugh at things. And I remember one episode where his father, I think it was the blood pressure, he'd gone to get tested at the doctor's and he was given a blood pressure band. And of course, every time his blood pressure went up, which was frequent when they were living together, he would get angry and just go beep, beep, beep. And Fraser said to him, now, Dad, listen, when you're getting angry, just put the anger in a red balloon and see it float away. And of course, the episode then was, as soon as there was that kind of beep, 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 the father, you could see him going. So he was watching the red balloon go away. And that's what the letting go is like. It's just a quick exercise. I mean, it's stunning. I can't believe why people kind of maybe are not using it or whatever. It's just so quick. And you're just letting go. You're imagining that your worries are gone. So if you have no control, if it's unproductive thinking, let it go. But you need to, of course, identify that. So just say to yourself, is my thinking productive or is it unproductive? And you know what? If it's unproductive, why are you hanging on to it? Let it go. It's the same with worry and fear. You what are you most afraid of? When you actually identify fear, it helps you realise that your anxiety might be unfounded. And what I would do is I would draw like a 2-column table, and on one side I would write down the benefits of this worry. What are the benefits? And then the other I would write the costs of worrying. So if there's a benefit, perhaps that there's something you can do about the worry, because sometimes some kind of worry can motivate you to do something about it. It can motivate you to prepare. If the cost is too much, such as the overthinking, you're becoming paralysed by fear and worry, you're creating this self-fulfilling prophecy. So try the table. Again, it's using your diary or a notepad or something. And then say to you, how many times, look at it again, say, how many times do you think the worst? How many times? And when you're thinking the worst, does the worst happen? It's I was thinking there just as I'm speaking, sometimes you think, oh, that person, they always have all the luck, and I've always just got bad luck. Bad luck just follows me. But if you've got that kind of negative way of thinking, it does. It's when you're positive, and it's kind of an energy around us. When you're smiling, you're laughing, you're positive, you will draw positive people to you. And when you are always talking about your problems, always moaning, now we need to get it off our chest. But I remember years ago, when I was dealing with relationships with people, one lady, I remember her saying to me, I'm losing my friends and nobody wants to meet with me. And when we kind of drilled down, all she ever talked about was her divorce. Why did it happen? How he was, whatever. And people got fed up. Now, yes, you need to offload, but not all the time. If you're going out for lunch or coffee with somebody, unless it's for that specific look, you need to meet them to talk. But if it isn't, then nobody wants to sit and listen to that every lunchtime, every coffee break. Yes, you will lose your friends. So, a good one for me, and I don't have my dog now, but if you've got an animal, I suppose, but dogs are really, I love dogs, talk to them, because they'll just give you unconditional love, and you can just, I'm missing my Princess Darcy, my son's dog, I get him sometimes, but she's just wonderful and just wants to hug you all the time. We call her the Velcro dog. She loves touching her humans. But, that's all right, because they can sort of talk back to you and you can feel good. But when you're out just having lunch with friends, don't offload all your worries on them. They'll probably have the same sort of worries. So maybe suggest my tips, perhaps. So when you've got no control over the situation, let it go. Let it go. And that includes actually when we lose a loved one. We've no control over these things that are happening. And particularly at Easter, I think we'll reflect back on a year more than that now of people losing loved ones, not being able to be with their loved ones. And you've no control over that now. It's gone. And all you can do then is what you do have control over. And that's the control over just remembering the happy times, remembering the memories you've had, and honour these people by still loving them in spirit. They're with you all the time. So when you identify that you're overthinking and worrying, and if it's unproductive, then you need to repeat these words. Make it your affirmation. Thinking about this is no use to me. Thinking about this is no use to me. I let it go. Thinking about this is no use to me. I let it go. Repeat it till it's in your head. Write it down. Remind yourself. And then refocus on what's actually going on around you. And repeat the let go phrase. Just keep saying it. When you keep repeating this and letting go of worries, then you create a good habit. You create a good habit instead of this bad habit of over worrying. And you learn to be less consumed and overwhelmed by anxiety and worry. Now, I've still got more tips. Sorry, it's just a video this morning that I'm getting sidetracked with stories. But stories are good. And I'm sure you can resonate with some of the stories. The tip 5 is really back a bit to your journal because it's actualizing. Use your journal and diary. Write down the phrase, let it go. This takes it from being a thought in your head to actually, it's taking it out of your mind onto an actual page. And it feels good. So you write down the phrase, and when you write down, I let it go, it strengthens your mind. And of course, psychology research shows that it also strengthens your immune system. And what more do we need that just now? particularly when they still keep talking about different strains of COVID, etc. And to me, I'm not denying there's all these things about, but I think lots of the media have just put fear into everybody. And I think lots of people just now will be over worrying about everything, over worrying about going out, over worrying about doing anything. And it's kind of stopping living. And I think we need to try and stop that over worrying. And of course, take precautions yourself. You know, nobody's forcing you to do things, go to pubs or go to, concerts and things. But don't over worry yourself about it. So you're making the phrase, I let it go, into an A, my A, the affirmation. And it's the 3 P's, remember. So it's the personal, the positive, and the present tense. I let it go. Now, tip 6, I think we're on number 6 now, is my B and C together. Breathe and a mindfulness meditation. My Mind Bites meditations are mindful. So this is about learning to live in the now. Ditch the what ifs. The past is gone. You can't do anything about it now. You can control how you react to your past. You don't know what's going to happen round the corner. We don't know what's happening in the next minute, in the next, we go out up to the shops. We don't know what's going to happen. So live in the now. And mindfulness meditations help you do that, just bringing you into the present. And that stops you from overthinking. So if all the thoughts start rattling round in your head, then deep breathe in and even say it. It lowers your blood pressure and your heart rate, and it calms and relaxes, but also energizes you. And then just do a quick mindfulness meditation, bringing yourself back into the now. One reason you overthink is actually due to fear. That's another reason we overthink. It's due to fear. We're frightened that we're not good enough, we're not dedicated enough, we haven't worked hard enough. Well, if you've done your best, that's all you can do, and you have to accept that. It's something that I had to, in writing my book about when I lost my son, there were lots of things, there were what ifs came into it. And if you're reading my book or you've got it, there's like, what if I'd done this? Maybe I should have done that. And overthinking was clogging my mind up. And I had to think, and I've said often, particularly to parents, to relationships of all sorts, all you can do is your best with the tools you have at the time. It's a bit like we didn't have technology years ago, so how did we communicate with people? Well, we used the tools we had, so it was letters, or went out to the phone box, etc. We now have technology, so we have different tools. So as we grow in life, you gain perhaps more effective tools. And maybe years ago, I suppose I didn't really have my ABC. I must have been able to do something, because I remember always being creative. I always kind of thought out of the box. And it's only later when I was writing about these things that creativity builds resilience. So, it's a difficult one, but sometimes you think, if only I could have done more. When we lose a loved one, if only I could have done more. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have done this. And I have to remind myself, and you have to too, that if you've done your best, which most people do, then you've got to say, I did my best and I did what I could with the tools I had at the time. It's all you can do. And of course, that then brings me to the next kind of tip. It's just included in this tip 6, but be grateful. Look at your gratitude list every day. If you haven't got one, make one up and add to it. Even share your lists with friends about all the good things you have around you. And I think that when we support each other in this kind of positive way, and that's what I'm hoping to do with I'm doing with my MindCircles wellbeing group on Facebook, is to remind ourselves to support each other and just, share that I am grateful for, and we can use some word, and then that when you do that, it inspires and motivates others to share as well. And of course, along the way, I know I'm banging on about this, but please use my ABC. And by now, this should be, for anyone listening to these videos, this should be your good habit. So I think I've chatted enough. You're probably overthinking already about what was she talking about. Your head's so full of things. But hopefully the last message is that it's full of just do the ABC. So for today, what do you think your affirmation would be? Make up your own, but I would say I stop over worrying. I let it go. I let go of worry and anxiety, and say it to yourself. Write it down. That's your affirmation. Look at it. Have a post-it note stuck to your computer or wherever you're working, that as soon as these overthinking, all these thoughts start coming, just look at it. I stop overthinking. Stop and take a breather. And that brings me to B. So it's the breathing. You can breathe in. Remember, it's the effective breathing, not the shallow. The breathing from the diaphragm, lower diaphragm. So you're breathing in through your nose. Now you notice I'm not moving my shoulders at all. Hold and then exhale slowly through the mouth. Now today I thought I would do, since we're kind of coming into the sunnier weather, still a bit cold up here, but I know lots of lovely photos on Facebook people are posting up on social media, glorious sunsets on the beach, and there's a lady posts up, she goes round before she's got quite a lot of work, she's got her own business, but she goes round the seaside down Ayrshire Way, and beautiful beaches with just the sand and the sea. So I thought I would do the beach and horizon and just try and we take ourselves in this moment to a wonderful place. So let's just do that again. Of course, it's soon we'll maybe be able to do this outside and have our shoes off and touching nature, but at the moment it's in the room, in their house, feet flat on the ground, your back against the chair, and of course straight back, not stiff, you don't want to be stiff, but a straight back, confident pose, so you're not kind of slouched and that gets you can't breathe properly. So just the straight back. And I want you all now this meditation, I designed this Mind Bites Beach and Horizon because I was thinking about it just helping you face challenges with confidence. And of course, overthinking is a challenge. It's a difficulty that you have, and you need to be able to face this and know what to do and say, I let it go. So if you want to close your eyes now and just listen to my voice. Take a deep breath in through the nose, hold, and then exhale slowly through the mouth. Now imagine you are walking on golden sand. Feel the sand on your toes. Feel the warmth of the sun on your face. Stretching far into the distance. You feel free. Space is all around you. You feel the energy of nature. You can see as far as the horizon. There's only this peaceful scene. The sand, the sea, and the open space. You feel confident. You feel free. You move forward with a sense of purpose. You can sense the freedom. You have a calm mind. You feel confident. Now take a deep breath in through the nose, breathing in the pure air. Hold, and then exhale slowly through the mouth. Now take another deep breath in and feel the air fill your mind and body. It fills you with confidence. Breathe in again, hold, and then slowly exhale. Just say to yourself, I let fears and worries go. I let it go. I am calm. I am relaxed. Say to yourself, I can face any challenge with confidence and purpose. I can turn them into opportunities. Say to yourself again, I am positive. I am calm. I am relaxed. Now just open your eyes and say to yourself again, I feel confident. I let my worries go. I let the overthinking go. And then just sugar your shoulders, shake, yawn, stretch your arms. Just bring yourself back into the now. Now, I hope today has helped. If you have any other topics, of course, please let me know. But only you can kind of take control over your thoughts, and remember that. So I'll be back on Monday, my live video on Monday. I know it's Easter Monday, but tune in to see my Easter bonnet. Don't know what I'm doing yet. But of course, if you've got any suggestions for titles, remember, private message me or email me. And as always, what are my two vital, my trademark tips? Smile and laugh. They cost you nothing. And of course, virtual hugs to you all. I hope you've got a fabulous day and a fabulous weekend ahead of you. And thinking about you all, no matter where you are. Enjoy. Okay? Bye for now.